fear of spiders. Anyone can suffer from arachnophobia. It is easy to know if you're affected. It can make your life totally hellish. Just spotting a spider will accelerate your heartbeat to an uncontrollable level. You perspire and shake. Their many beady eyes percolate your soul. Their 8 long legs and rapacious maneuvers stir some primitive inherent fear and aversion. Arachnophobia is an irrational horror rooted in the human psyche. Spiders in the past have been related to evil, sickness, plagues, and incidents of mass terror. Christianity associated the spider with the devil, entrapping sinners. Many people are afraid of spiders beyond their actual power to cause harm. Though the majority are poisonous, just 30 of the 40,000 known varieties jeopardize human life. The majority of spiders are lone assassins who ambush their quarry with a toxic bite. Thereafter, they liquefy its body and suck out the matter inside. These jumping spiders hunt collectively and make sudden attacks on their prey. Though small in size, their sheer numbers are enough to grab their prey. A few tarantulas are so huge, their legs are big enough to cover a dinner plate. However, their size doesn't imply wickedness. This black widow spider is someone you should be wary of, as it is 15 times more venomous than a rattlesnake. Spiders are ancient beings with a history going back many millions of years, long before mankind came to exist. As they adapt so well to any condition, they can be seen all over the place. In the trees, underneath the ground, on water, and even below. Still, many choose to visit our homes, to the horror of arachnophobes. Silk is used by all spiders in some way. The spider's web is tougher than steel, more flexible than rubber, and much stronger than a bulletproof vest. Scientists, by carefully observing what spiders do naturally, have been successful in producing synthetic silk, which helps in surgery, in space technology, and in the making of new fabrics. The fear of spiders can be passed down through generations, acquired through conditioning or by a disturbing incident. But surely we can get rid of our fears. Education, better insight, and familiarization are the ways by which one can get over this unfounded fear of spiders. Arachnophobia.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen, all for free. No subscription required. Download Veely now.
fear of sharks. Horror films have enkindled a persistent fright of sharks in many people. Sharks have come to represent fear and terror since time immemorial. Their ominous-looking eyes, frightful teeth, and swift, deadly ambushes make sharks one of the deadliest hunters out there. For hundreds of years, there have been legends about vicious sea creatures that inhabit the deep seas. But the shark is one wild creature that is very real. So what threat do these silent monsters pose? Out of more than 400 known shark species in the world, only 5 are really dangerous to humans. The tiger shark is one of the most voracious predators in the ocean and will attack anything that comes in its way. Based on records from all over the world, bull sharks are the most likely to attack humans. The great white is the largest and most lethal of all. Its excellent sensory perception can locate a minute drop of blood from a kilometer away. Rulers of their water kingdoms, these skillful hunters validate our fears. They are also worthy of our admiration. These sharks have spread all over the world in several shapes and sizes over 200 million years. The hammerhead is possibly the weirdest looking. The angel shark feeds on other sharks. Although the whale shark is the biggest living fish species, larger than a bus, it is a vegetarian that feeds on sea plankton. Sharks are present all over the world. The basking sharks are regular visitors to the shores of the British Isles. They rarely attack in reality. However, just the thought of them is enough to scare us. In all cultures, these creatures do not represent terror and hatred. The Hawaiians believe that the dead are reincarnated as sharks who look after the living. For good fortune, the boat builders in East Africa smear their fresh hulls with the oil of hammerhead sharks. Shark fin soup is supposed to vitalize lovers with its aphrodisiac properties in parts of Asia. At times, intrigue may be more powerful than dread. We are attracted to the strange world of sharks where our fascination and excitement overshadow our fear of sharks. Galleophobia. fear of bats. A sleeping maiden and a blood-seeking beast. Bats upset us deeply within and may give rise to abnormal anxiety. The human mind has been haunted by bats since time unknown. Myths and legends from all over the world represent bats as blood-sucking demons, synonymous with black magic, witchcraft, and the like. The medieval period saw the devil often take the form of a bat. These nocturnal mammals signified evil spirit with magical powers. Several terror tales and movies narrate the story of Count Dracula, a bloodthirsty vampire who could turn into a large bat. While bats are branded all over the world as bloodsuckers, only a few of them actually feed on blood. A few sustain themselves on fish, flowers, fruit, and frogs. But the majority of them feed on insects. The only vampire bats that feed solely on blood are found in tropical Central and South America. They usually feed on deer or livestock, and humans are rare blood donors. The bats make a painless incision. Its saliva inhibits blood from clotting, and it laps up the blood instead of sucking it through fangs. The loss of blood is comparatively low, but catching rabies is the most dangerous thing. Bats have evolved over 50 million years, and their superb flying skills have helped them inhabit each and every continent. Bats are neither flying mice nor birds, but are creatures associated with the primates. Almost 1/4 of the world's mammal species are bats. Flying foxes or fruit bats are the biggest of all the bats in the world, with a wingspan of over a meter. Huge numbers of fruit bats are nabbed and kept captive in Southeast Asia. The bats are sold for food, but there are many who think they are of medicinal use. Sadly, the fruit bats are on the verge of being extinct. But there have been times when bats were revered as gods. These creatures played a significant part in shaping the culture of early Central America. One of the Mayan gods has been portrayed with bat wings and a bat's head. Bats are considered sacred in Bali. They are greatly honored as they inhabit this spiritual sanctuary. Buddhists in Thailand regard each life form as sacrosanct. There are bats who are believed to be sacred, signifying long life. Whereas in China, bats represent bliss, good luck, and triumph. Though many facts have been obtained about them, still many aspects of these nocturnal creatures dwell in mystery. They continue to intrigue and haunt us, playing to our fear of bats, nycteridophobia. fear of frogs and toads. A fear portrayed well in horror movies. In reality, frogs and toads are very tiny creatures as compared to human beings, but they can terrorize human beings to a great extent. Their big, protruding eyes, slippery or spotty skins. Unexpected and surprising maneuvers make them capricious and terrifying. Frogs and toads have never enjoyed a good status. Toads were creatures synonymous with horror and superstition, evil and witchcraft, and they were an important element in magical potions. But why are people frightened by these strange, cold-blooded creatures? Probably a seed of their terror is planted deep in our minds. Though they can look scary, a majority are in fact harmless. Their level of danger is directly proportionate to the color of their skin, meaning the brighter the color, the more dangerous they are. For instance, these poison dart frogs. A single golden poison dart frog's skin could spell death to 1,000 people. It is aptly used in a blowpipe. These poisons are used in some other way by the Matses Indians of Peru. They apply the secretions from green tree frogs on their open wounds for a strong hallucinogenic effect. The Californians became familiar with this practice in the 1960s. Many became addicted to toad licking, a drug as strong, hazardous, and illegal as heroin. The skin of the amphibian contains such awesome powers that it is being examined for its antibiotic, pain-relieving, and antiviral characteristics. Years ago, American cane toads were brought to Australia in order to curb an epidemic outbreak of sugarcane beetles. Things went out of control when the cane toads started spreading widely themselves. Their poison caused nausea, paralysis, and killed more than just beetles. Terror took over the region. Frogs and toads are present everywhere. They traverse boiling deserts, endure dry savannas, cross tropical rainforests, and they are also spotted in the highest and strangest of the world's lakes. The bizarre Lake Titicaca frog inhabits the Andes 4,000 meters high. A few frogs have outlived famine conditions in the faraway Australian outback by staying below the ground for up to 7 years, until they are spotted by a parched aborigine. Aborigines associate frogs and toads with the onset of the rains. The Central American Indians honored them with the status of rainmakers and regarded them as symbols of virility, creating stunning ornaments in their image. According to early Egyptians, they were nothing less than godly. The frog goddess Hecate was the guardian of newly born babies. In order to reproduce, they won't mind taking the risk of life to participate in a mating mania that plays to our fear of frogs and toads. Arachnophobia. fear of dogs. For many, dogs are dreaded predators which strike a compulsive fear inside people. Is it the close affinity between dogs and wolves that scares us? Or is it the way they can get noisy, fierce, devastating, and filthy? An unpleasant experience or a bite can result in a lifelong fear of dogs. Our phobia of dogs can be traced back to ancient times. In myths, dogs were depicted as dreaded killers and agents of the devil. For many, a howling dog preempted death. The dog was believed to have extrasensory perception capable of sensing a spirit's presence. In folklore, monster dogs stood vigil at the door, leading to the mysteries of the underworld. The mythic werewolf changes from a man into the wolf at every full moon. In the 16th century, numerous people were set on fire in France, condemned as being vicious werewolves. Amazing tales have warned us of the danger related to dogs. But some really warrant our phobia. Several dog species have reportedly attacked people, especially children. Yet for us, the gravest danger from dogs is rabies. Dogs are a principal carrier of this viral ailment that may cause insanity and even death. Dangerous dogs have been carefully reared for their violent fighting and guarding instincts. For instance, this pit bull terrier. But at times they attack you without any reason. Human beings have also utilized the dog's killer instinct for sport. Dogs are astute and adaptable creatures who can survive almost anywhere. This fox gets by in sub-zero temperatures of the Arctic. The fennec fox can live in the scorching heat of the Sahara Desert. These uncommon and mysterious bush dogs live in the Latin American wilderness. Wild dogs, such as this coyote, can be spotted in urban settlements as well. They have been far too successful for our comfort, and fights over livestock have resulted in their hunting. Denounced in certain societies, dogs are highly regarded and revered in others. American Indians had a lot of regard for the wolf. It was forbidden to slay this superb hunter. Some native Indians even declared themselves to be descendants of the wolf. Wolf hides were sported for magic and for camouflage during bison hunts. Since the time of their domestication 12 millennia ago, dogs have become a central part of our lives, cherished as loyal friends, protectors, hunters, and herders. We still revere them today. Most household dogs keep their untamed side under check, but their rapacious nature remains, which plays to our fear of dogs, cynophobia. fear of fish. An original fear that can haunt human beings. But what is the reason behind these cold, soggy, slimy creatures frightening us humans? Being the rulers of their watery kingdom can be one. Or maybe it's something about them having slippery skin, fixed, wide eyes, unpleasant looks, or the way they pant for breath, thrashing hysterically that makes us feel nauseated.
I love you till the day I die.
Mariners have weaved innumerable tales about deadly sea monsters that dwell under the sea. Although these beasts are not there in actual life, there are many a fish residing in the seas today that are as strange and scary. A few of them ought to be feared. Venomous scorpionfish possess poisonous spines capable of taking a man's life in just a few hours. The stonefish's spines have a lethal poison. Stingrays attack with their spiky tails, stinging and jabbing their prey when under threat. With its powerful electric shock ability, the electric eel stuns its prey. Carnivorous piranhas have such razor-sharp teeth and strong jaws that they can tear their victim to bits. Three-quarters of the earth is water, and fish reign over them. The majority of them swim, a few fly, while others like to crawl on the earth. Over the years, fish have grown in exceptionally different ways, especially tailored to exploit their habitat. Antifreeze in the ice fish helps it to survive in the icy waters of the Antarctic. Tilapia stay alive in the scorching heat of volcanic soda lakes. If fish have conquered the waters, it is in part because of their huge egg-laying capability. In seahorses, it is the male who produces the young, a strange fish. Fish, dwellers of an inexplicable foreign kingdom, have from ancient times been linked with the holy and paranormal, symbols of good luck and revered by religious groups. To earn favor and a prosperous next life, Buddhist monks offer food to fish. Legends abound about mermaids, half female, half fish, who used to entice sailors at sea. Fish came to be regarded as symbols of sex because of their ability to breed profusely. In a few cultures, including fish in the diet was believed to better fertility. A savored delicacy, the eggs of the Russian sturgeon, the highest priced caviar. These cold-blooded creatures enthrall and also put us off, capturing our imagination and invoking our most original fear of fish: ichthyophobia. The fear of insects. Insects seem larger than life in our thoughts. Is it because of their unusual features, or because of their reputation as disgusting and dreadful vermin? Or is it because of their capability to bite and sting that makes them loathed and abhorred all over the world? Insects have played their part in the propagation of legends and superstition. The evil drum of a death watch beetle was the sign of imminent disaster. During the night, if a death's head hawk moth flew in through the window, people saw it as a sign of death. This fearful moth has a skull and crossbones naturally imprinted on its back. Butterflies and moths were also considered synonymous with death, symbolizing the spirit of the dead as it departs the body. How justified are our fears? Although this tiny bedbug draws our blood at night, it is not that harmful. A contaminator of food and carrier of disease, each year the common housefly is responsible for taking 1 million lives. One person on the planet is killed every 10 seconds due to malaria transmitted by mosquitoes. South American army ants assemble in thousands, destroying everything that comes in their way. They have also taken the lives of human beings. Every year, thousands of humans die from bee and wasp stings, especially those who are sensitive to the poison. Though usually not very harmful, their stings can cause a lot of pain. Almost 90% of all animals are insects, making them undoubtedly the most abundant creatures on the planet. In various places, their numbers have reached epidemic levels. Hordes of locusts can wipe out crops and lead to famine. Mammoth swarms of insects are attacking our cities, living off the conditions created by ourselves. We have invented poisonous chemicals to check their growth, but the insects are getting immune to them. Insects in other cultures are respected and considered sacred. Jain monks roam with no clothes on, brushing aside any insects in their path to display a faith that prohibits them from hurting living organisms. To the early Egyptians, the scarab beetle symbolized their sun god, Ra, who spun the sun across the sky and rejuvenated life. The honeybee is one insect adored and cultivated by man since prehistoric times. Sweet honey was a present from the gods. Silkworms are also significant in our world today. Their cocoons are used to produce pure silk. Insects also make exotic delicacies in different parts of the world. Water bugs, crickets, grubs and worms are tasty treats rich in protein. Insects are very important for life on the planet. We could not survive without them. They have occupied every nook of our planet, even our thoughts, adding to our fear of insects. Entomophobia. The fear of snakes.
The rattler.
Their devilish tongues, chilly, scaly skin, and the way they quietly slide towards us are what worst nightmares are made of. Snakes enter the human psyche, playing with our actual and made-up terrors. Snakes have, for ages, been considered mighty and transcendental creatures and have always been cloaked in spirituality and mysticism. In Greek mythology, the Medusa is described as a snake beast with the power to turn men into stone who dared to look at her. The snake is a primal creature of the kingdom below, associated with diabolism and representing uninhibited sexual urges and fertility. In Christianity, it is considered to be an agent of the devil, the one held responsible for Adam and Eve's fall from grace in the Garden of Eden. In the United States, various snake-handling sects consider the snake as a symbol of the devil, and only the genuinely faithful can take care of them and their bites. Not many people have come across a snake. However, we are afraid and suspicious of their pointed fangs and their power to kill by strangulation. Kids are seldom afraid of snakes, but their hatred appears to grow as they age. Only 1/4 of the world's snake species are poisonous. Still, for many, they are a nightmare because of their reputation. Annually, around 1 million people across the planet fall victim to snake bites. However, in the majority of the world, there are higher chances of being killed by lightning than by a snake. The saw-scaled viper is the most perilous of the snakes because they are very prevalent and are hugely violent. Pythons are infamous predators that strangulate their quarry. In North America, most of the severe snake bites are caused by the western diamondback rattlesnakes. The anaconda enjoys the status of being the world's biggest snake, 8 meters or longer, though some unreliable reports have stated to have seen them more than 18 meters long. There have been people swallowed and killed by them, but it is only occasional. Our exaggerated panic has led to their torment. The snake represents both evil and good in legends. Over 10,000 years ago, the earliest known snake gods were revered in Crete. Since ancient times in India, the cobra has been largely revered, and grand festivals have taken place to pay them tribute. In remembrance of Saint Dominic and his resistance to snakes, a march is held through the Spanish hamlet of Coculo yearly. Partaking in this is also supposed to safeguard against ill health. The number of deaths from snake bites lessened after the discovery of antivenom. The poison itself compromises useful properties which the medical profession is verifying. To have a fear of poisonous snakes is not a bad thing. Nevertheless, even when they are not dangerous, their reptilian character results in our unreasonable fear of snakes. Ophidiophobia. of rats and mice. Why are we so afraid of these little creatures? Is it because of their hairy bodies? The way they scurry about? Or is it their connection with filth, decay, disease, and death that scares us? Rats and mice have been considered evil creatures for many, many years. They are highlighted in horror stories and in our imagination as dwelling in gloomy areas such as foul-smelling drains and dark dungeons. Myths associated rats with misfortune, and even uttering the word was considered inauspicious. People thought that a sudden increase in mice in their house was a sign of inevitable death. Rats and mice frequently spread disease. Over time, millions of people have succumbed to bubonic plague. This is one of the most dreaded and oldest diseases in the world, which is transmitted by fleas carried by black rats. Weil's disease is also transmitted by rats by contaminating water with their urine. However, our own fear of rats and mice could be our greatest enemy. Rats and mice are fast breeders and have spread all over the world. They have traversed continents hidden in the dark recesses of ships, or as stowaways on aeroplanes. They have also made a journey into space as authorized members of scientific experiments. Now, where will they head from here? The alarming proliferation of rodents has turned them into great pests. They will devour anything, even our garbage, and flourish on the throwaway existence of human beings. Rats thrive in urban surroundings. They trail us wherever we go, damaging and destroying things along the way. When the rodent numbers get out of control, the exterminators enter the scene. They cannot be easily fooled by the traditional mousetrap. A gun might prove effective, only if you're a good shot. Another good way for pest control is poison, provided the rat falls for the trap. At times, natural exterminators such as torrential rains and flash floods come in handy as they destroy whole colonies. But there are always survivors. Although we make great efforts to prevent their spread, the rodent population is swelling continuously, feeding our fear of rats and mice. Rodentophobia.
There he goes. Oh no, Edgar, don't use that. Think twice, not that. Oh, Edgar.
fear of birds.
The man covers face and eyes, tries to fight off slashes that can cut like a knife. Forgotten now is everything but self-preservation.
Birds can be frightening. Their impassive eyes, abrupt maneuvers, and the way they flutter their wings with a distinctive sound spells horror and terror. Throughout history, birds have been considered as agents of the devil. Crows warned of tragedy and misfortune. Ravens were regarded as harbingers of turmoil and death. A chaste white bird was once believed to be an omen of death. With their extraordinary night vision, owls were believed to be psychic, and terror was synonymous with them. There are several myths associated with huge predator birds. Although a majority of these legends are baseless, scary birds do exist. Birds of prey are expert killers with hooked beaks, strong legs, and razor-sharp claws. They are ideal killers. There are many who have fallen victim to birds. The mute swan, the cassowary, equipped with sharp dagger-like claws, and the biggest living creature in the bird category, the ostrich, which is the quickest two-legged animal in the world. Although birds may seem violent, humans are seldom attacked, except when incited. Birds colliding with passenger planes have resulted in several accidents and human casualties. Birds have gone places. The peregrine falcon is the most widespread of all birds. Due to the loss of their natural habitat and sources of food, birds have been forced to migrate to cities where they turn into scavengers, foraging in the refuse of our societies. A few species of birds, however, look to have rapidly proliferated and are turning into a nuisance. The number of chickens have surpassed that of the human population. The red-billed qualia, found in Africa, is the world's most prolific bird species, forming flocks that hold many millions. This species is just one among many who considerably damage the fields of cereal crops, resulting in great losses of income each year, the birds being attacked by tillers of the soil. Nevertheless, ever since earliest times, birds have caught our interest. Even the universe was considered to have emerged from an egg. It was thought birds possessed magical powers and were messengers of deities. Humans have forever turned green seeing birds' ability to fly in the sky. The earliest human flyers acquired this skill through experimental trial and error. Birds captivate us, but their capricious nature of shocking and terrifying us still plays to our fear of birds, ornithophobia.